The bounty hunters. So where did the hat go? Scaly asks nervously as he looks around. Sure, he's surrounded and protected on all sides by the rest of the chainbreaker, but one was missing and that meant something was up. They were all in Section 2, the Coliseum. There were a dozen major competition arenas and this one was doing one-on-one duels all day. The fighters would walk out and show off what weapon they would use and give a short introduction as the odds were calculated and put up to prompt the betting. This was fast cash, so nothing big was ever set, but it was a hell of a way to introduce yourself to the entire space station. Perfect for setting yourself up for bait for people to try something stupid on. He's out to win a bet, a round, and the appreciation of the audience. 2 bets, actually. Well, technically, he's already won the first one. As I said, there was no way in hell he'd go through with this. I underestimated the man. Pukey remarks before grinning. Hopefully, he loses the second. That way we break even. What's the bet? Scaly asks, and Cindy giggles a little in response. Whether or not. Cindy begins to explain before the large 4-part screen floating above the arena activates. All right, we got the blood out of the floor and we've got our next contestants lined up. The announcer, a platen with small hollow projectors bolted into her armor plating with the hard light holograms being the only apparent clothing she's wearing, but has a massive ablator strapped to her back. Our first, from the spinwards direction, comes an absolute monster. That's right, ladies. We've got a Canador in the fight. Allow me to introduce Vexa Crimsonhewer, she announces. And a blood-red and jet-black Canador woman comes stomping out and roars. Base metal armor plates hang off chains around her body as she apparently has little if any care for her own protection as she brings down a mace that's more akin to a car engine welded onto a pole. The swing visibly cracks the stone floor and leaves a crater in the sand and gravel overtop it. The announcer gives out a low whistle in response. Well, someone's ready to rumble. Your opponent is still a mystery and has asked for your opinion both before and after you see them. Anything to say to them? Think you can scare them off before they even emerge from their entrance? The microphone with the hand holding it is grabbed by the Amazonian alien who drags the announcer in close to growl deeply into the microphone. Only the forfeiture on murder is going to save your life. I fully intend to reduce each limb you have into bloody smears of gristle and bone shards. My fur will be dyed with your blood. She releases the announcer at this point and she turns to the opposite entrance with her mace held forward. Then the hat steps out and into view. The human men on the chainbreaker promptly burst into laughter, catcalls and jeers loud enough to echo around the arena. The man is in a knee-to-elbow-length chrome leotard with a double-sided blue pugil stick that he balances on his shoulder. His Carnex hat is on as well as a gigantic grin, and while the rest of the bounty hunters can recognize exactly what he made his suit out of, it's still ridiculous and worthy of jeers. I think you walked in the wrong door, honey boy. Not that I don't appreciate the show, but this is for fighters, not dancers, the announcer remarks as she visibly looks him up and down. Then what's she doing here? The hat asks, pointing to his opponent who pauses in her laughing to look baffled at him. Little Tret, if you think you are some kind of warrior, then where is your weapon? Why do you not wear armor? Now, perhaps you think yourself skilled in wrestling, though if that's the kind of fight you want, I wouldn't say no. I was thinking I'd break this stick off in your gut and use your carcass to sweep the floors, unless you think you can stop me. The hat challenges and she goes still. So you're actually Bangani Chabalal? The announcer asks, and the hat sighs even as Pukey lets out a cheer. Yes, and now I really have to win because I just lost my double or nothing bet leaving me with nothing. So I'll be whipping this idiot into a coma and walking out with some coin. The hat says as he rolls his shoulders and gives his pugil stick a little twirl. Oh really? Well, unless you somehow plan to seduce me into submission, I just don't see that happening. Vexa remarks as she starts to pad forward. The announcer gets out from between them, and the odds of 3,250 to 1 are put up on the board. This prompts the crew of the Chainbreaker to make a lot of quick bets on the hat. If he loses, they're out a few coins. If he wins, then they're rolling in it. That'd be too easy, girls like you. The term desperate completely fails to do you justice, the hat says. Anyways, I'm here for the prize. So unless you're afraid of a proper fight, then prepare yourself. What's he doing? He's going to get killed. He's way too small, that weapon's padded, and he's not wearing armor, Jade demands as she tries to make some sense of things. He's got hidden armor. Not only is that chrome outfit actually really strong, but under it, he's got a few things we've been scaring up from the Dauntless Research Lab and the Nerd Squad, Pukey explains, and Scaly moves up beside him. So, he's going to win? The Nagasha teenager asks. He's got a few tricks that should even the playing field. Whether he wins or not is up to him. Mustard remarks as he eats a handful of veg flakes, the local equivalent to chips. All right, we've got the required trash talk out of the way. This is going to be quick. Remember, no executing your opponent outright and no calling in outside help. That's it for the rules. Let's see some blood. The Platin calls out and backs off. Vexa charges in fast with a low sweep of the gigantic mace, which the hat jumps clean over. He then dodges to the side to avoid the massive overhead smash that she transitions the sweep into and rushes in close. At this zero range, she can't bring her large weapon to bear, and he slams the pugil stick into her gut. The miniature electrical generators in the ends of the stick crackle to life on impact and deliver a brutal payload through her body. The arena lets out at first a gasp, then a huge cheer as Vexa shakes under the electrical assault. "That thing is electrified?" the announcer demands. "You bet it is," the hat exclaims in glee as he takes a swing, but Vexa jumps backwards and away. This forces the hat to dodge to the side as the massive mace gets another swing at him, and she takes a defensive stance with a wide grip and wary eyes. "Clever. Your entire look was to put me off guard. You have more tricks, don't you?" Vexa asks, and the hat nods. They pace around somewhat, with the hat spinning the pugil stick somewhat as they clearly both size up how best to close the distance without getting hit. "So Bongani, what was that bet?" He smirks. The question is obviously a distraction, but why not? Whether or not the announcer could pronounce my name properly, I've spent years hearing people mangle it, but my friends insisted that with so many languages running around that odds were even or better that it would come out properly. It did, the hat remarks. "Why would you bet over something so Vexa begins to ask before darting forward and bringing the mace down hard. The hat darts away and tries to go around the side, but she brings the mace around and wards him off. They're at a stalemate again as he slowly paces around her, forcing her to slowly turn to match him. "What's he looking for?" Jade asks, and Onyx puts an arm around her shoulders. "He's looking for a weakness. By keeping her turning, she has to keep adjusting, and no defense is perfect. The adjustments mean that she has to keep repositioning the defense, which makes it more and more likely she exposes a weakness in it. He's already found one, but he's looking for a second to let him get that first one more easily." "What's the first weakness?" Jade asks curiously as the hat fakes a dash in and the mace comes down to be dodged. "That weapon she has. It has a large haft, meaning it's for using on more faraway opponents. Oh, it will hit like a meteor if it connects, but it has to connect. It needs room to move and strike. If he denies it, then it's a liability and not an asset, just a big weight that fills her hands and stops her from using them properly," her mother explains. "And his weapon is smaller and faster," Jade realizes. "And he's got an electrical current running through it, meaning it doesn't matter if he can get a proper swing in. He just needs to brush her lightly to cause harm," Onyx explains. The hat rushes in to take a swipe at Vexa, sidestepping a downward slam of the mace and jumping over the follow-up sweep with ease. Unfortunately, she's far from the type to panic and merely leaps back herself to open more distance while getting her grip back on her weapon. There's even more than that. He's got a pair of shield rings on and has been practicing with them. He's able to dodge that big hunk of metal easily enough, but he can also block it and stop it in its tracks. He's going to have to if he wants to open her up. She's wary, on the lookout for tricks, and won't take anything lying down, Pukey remarks. She's an absolute monster, though. Even a glancing hit from her may be enough to win the fight. Vexa jumps forward and brings down the mace. It's dodged, but she puts so much weight into it that the rest of the chain breaker in the stands can feel the vibrations. The sheer energy knocks the hat clean off his feet and the hat off his head. The pugil stick bounces to a stop some 20 meters away, and Vexa jumps again to get between him and it in the time it takes for him to kip up. "Okay, that's it," the hat growls. "No one." He rushes Vexa, who takes a swing at him. Touches! A glowing hand of Axiom forms on his left and he stops, its swing dead. The hat! A second glowing fist manifests on his right and he uppercuts the shocked Canador so hard she loses her grip on the weapon and skids backwards. She rolls upright, but he's already got her mace in the glowing Axiom hands that mimic his movements. The men and women from the chainbreaker are the first ones to cheer, but far from the last. Vexa snarls and charges in a clear fury. She quickly dodges a blisteringly fast swing of the mace to tackle the hat maw first. The mace comes down again to ram into her back, causing her to let out a whimper of pain even as she starts shaking the hat. Thankfully, his Carnex scale leotard has proven itself impervious to her teeth, but she's still squeezing him hard around the stomach and liable to take a chunk out of him anyways if he doesn't get her to stop. Still better than being bitten in half, though. The mace rises and falls again and again before she lets go to throw him. He bounces over the floor and his focus on the Axiom hands is dispelled, causing the mace to go skittering away until it slams into one of the arena walls. The crowd is going absolutely insane as the hat rises up with a snarl to match Vexa, even as she charges at him on all fours like a land shark from hell. He spreads his stance wide and readies himself. Vexa accelerates even harder and right into the waiting Axiom hands that then throw her clean over the hat's head as hard as he can make the Axiom move, and right into the wall of the arena, head first. The impact cracks the side and the Canador slumps to the ground, out cold. The entire viewing audience goes absolutely insane as Bongani Chabalal is declared the winner, even as he walks over to his dropped hat and brushes it off lightly before putting it back on. "Call me, the Hat," he says simply before collecting his pugil stick and walking out, grin firmly in place.